What's up, everyone? So today we are going to talk about the long-awaited video Multiversus. So I just want to start with Multiversus is a very good game. There are a few issues that I have with the game, but aside from that, this game is really good for the FGC in my opinion. So I'm going to lead with two different things, or I'm going to lead with pros first, and then I'll end with cons. So then that way you get the good news and you can kind of just click off if that's all you want to hear about, how the game plays or how the game feels. So first things first, the good thing about Multiversus is it's a very easy game to play. It's literally a 2-button, 3-button game, right? Like 2-button attack button. The third button is a defense button. There's not even a block button, right? So you have your normal attacks, right? You've got your down normal, you've got your straight normal, you've got your forward normal, up normal. They're all the same in the aerials. You have all those options. The other thing that you have too is you'll have a special option with your buttons, which is pretty good too. Every character feels really unique when it comes to this. This is something I actually really like about Multiversus is it seems like every character has some sort of unique type of playstyle. There's from zoners to brawlers. Obviously there's no grapplers, but agile characters, stuff like that. It even takes things from Smash, like the C Smash concept, where like you have a charge normal that will usually down someone, right? And you have like dares, which is your down air, which can insta kill someone off a stage. So there's a lot of good things when it comes to, like, if you played Smash even just a little bit, you'll be able to easily pick up Multiversus. That's something I really like about the game, and I think is really going to bring a lot of people into the fray. Like, I think there's a common misconception in fighting games that when you copy someone, that your game is not as valid or not as good because it's copying concepts. Like, a lot of people said, Multiversus is going to be a Smash clone, Smash clones never make it. But the thing is, like, first of all, there's a place for platform fighters. Like, we already have games like Brawlhalla, and Brawlhalla stands on its own without Smash. So clearly, like, developing some similar aspects doesn't stop a game from being good, and Multiversus is definitely one of those. So let me go ahead and finish with the rest of the pros. Another pro thing is the matchmaking is fast. So this is obviously a closed alpha, so to see me get in games like almost instantly in 2v2s, and it's a little bit slower in the 1v1s, but I still get a game within like maybe 3 minutes. It's kind of crazy how fast the matchmaking system is. So already we can see, like, with matchmaking and decent online, the game is going to be really easy to get in, and if you want to get good at this game, or if you just want to play casually, like, you'll have time to play, and you won't have to worry about looking for people in your Steam account or something like that. You could just literally play online and meet people that way. So that's a good thing too. The other thing is that obviously this game visually looks amazing. That is the number one thing that gets me, is like, this game is so well visually designed, and it's a free-to-play game. You can tell that this game has WB money in it, right? You can tell that this game is going to be supported by WB, because just the aesthetics of the game, how Batman looks, how all the iconic characters look, their voice lines, all that stuff, it just makes the game look really functional. It's kind of like MK11. Like, MK11 just looks like a good game. Even if you don't like the design of the game or the direction that NR is headed, it looks solid, right? And it's no different here. So definitely, the visual part is not going to be an issue. Like, I know some people had issues with King of Fighters 15. It's not the case here at all. Another thing is there's a lot of freedom with how you play the characters. Even as I was playing Raindog's more of a zoner, but even then I was able to brawl with him, so there's much more freedom. And there's obviously interesting characters, right? Like, you have like Jake the dog, Tom and Jerry, Batman, Harley. Like, clearly they're gonna take characters from WB, characters from Cartoon Network, there's just so in DC, like there's going to be so many different types of characters that can get into Multiversus, which is going to make it more unique because it's literally like Smash. Like they can take any, they probably could take a character from Mortal Kombat, throw them in here, you know, like Scorpion or something. So being able to have all these characters in the game, I think is going to be really interesting, and I think is what makes the game really unique and makes it stand out compared to Smash, right? Because you're probably not going to see a DC character in Smash, you know. So anyway, that's something that's really good. The other thing is it's very easy for people who haven't played a platformer. So if you haven't played a platformer, it's very, very casual. It's very, like, it's literally 2 buttons. They couldn't get any easier than this, right? 2 buttons and you ring someone out. That's the ledge guarding is much more lenient than Smash. You can stay on the ledge for a really long period of time. So yeah, it's very easy to play. There are no items. It's just you play your character, you use your special and your normals, and you're good to go. The combos aren't as common here, which leads me to believe that it's going to be more of a brawl type game, which that could be a good thing or a bad thing, which kind of leads into our cons. I don't know how extensive the combos are going to be or how important it is to combo people, or if it's going to be focused more on single hits. We'll see. But as far as I'm concerned, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we also haven't had enough time to break down combos on characters, so you know that could change. We just don't know. So the cons are, so let's get into the cons. There's quite a few cons here. So I know, you know, I just talked really hype about the game and how the game's really, really good. But I feel like there are some things that I can't ignore that I have experienced, but they're really minor. They're not as big of a deal as the pros make this game worth playing. So let's go ahead and get into the cons. One of the big cons that I have so far is there is lag. I have experienced it a few times, quite a few times actually. It's been about like maybe out of the 30 matches I played, I probably experienced it 3 or 4 times. And when there is lag, the game really gets confusing. Like your character will either stay in place and you'll be like, hey, what's going on? Why can't I move my character? Or like you'll teleport in a different direction and you'll be like, wait, I was trying to move left. Why am I moving right all of a sudden? So there are some cons when it comes to that. I do feel like there are some things they need to work out with rollback. I did remember that they said that the game was rollback, so hopefully they'll be able to fix some of those online issues. And you know, other people have kind of shared their opinions on some of the lag that comes up in the game. I don't know if that's like connection issues between players or if that's just a rollback problem. I don't know, but I do think they need to address this, and I do think we need to criticize stuff like this when it happens, right? I'm sure Sajin will have something to say about it, but having more people say things about this will basically allow them to fix this problem much more efficiently and have much better feedback, right? You have to remember this is an alpha, so we're not even playing against that many people right now, so it might get worse or it might get better. You know, with more people, that means easier to connect to people closer to you, or maybe it could be the other way around, where you connect to more people, so you have more chances to have laggy matches. So whatever that might be, that is something that they need to take into account, and we need to voice about, because I have experienced lag quite a few times, more consistently than MK. So anyway, so that's definitely one. Another one is the menus kind of seem a little bit laggy too. There has been times where like I'm trying to click on something and the game won't let me like exit out. Like I'm trying to switch characters and the game won't let me switch characters for some reason. And like the select a fighter thing is counting down and I'm like, why can't I switch characters? Like what's going on? So I don't know if that's like a lag issue with the menus or like just a lag issue with the game, but that is definitely something I noticed. Hopefully someone else can kind of voice their opinion on that too. Again, these are like really minor things. Like these are things that like they don't completely ruin the gameplay, right? So the other one is Taz. So I did want to talk really quickly about Taz. I know the game hasn't come out yet, so it's hard to make a tier list or a character is broken list, but I do have to mention a character like Taz. the reason why I feel like this is important to mention is because Taz's big problem is the tornado move from what I saw. And my big issue with that is that they have had an issue like this in the past in platform fighters. And that is with Meta Knight. Meta Knight had a very similar move, and Meta Knight was like really strong in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He was one of the main reasons the game was like not taken seriously competitive. So to see WB kind of implemented a similar move and the character be another problem, it's just kind of weird to me, because like we've already seen a broken Smash character that had a similar, you know, issue, right? So I'm hoping that WB will address this, or at least really pay attention to like characters from the past, like in other platform games that have made the games broken, right? I think with that, if you're able to pay attention to what made Smash and what made characters strong in Smash, it's very easy to kind of avoid those issues in the long run. And that's why Taz was kind of concerning to me, because to see Taz the way he is and have already experienced that in Brawl, or seen, you know, people complain about that in Brawl, is just a little bit concerning to me. You know, earlier I was watching one of Sonic Fox's games, and one of Sonic Fox's friends mentioned Taz. He's like, Taz is, you know, oh, Meta Knight all over again. And like that kind of made me perk my ears up, because I was like, oh yeah, like even he knows, like, you know, this character's kind of similar. Maybe we shouldn't have characters like that again, right? So just something to think about. And on top of that, the tornado KOs, like, it's just kind of crazy. But the other one, this is kind of more of a con, even as a zoner. I do think it's a little bit unusual that like zoning's going to be much more powerful. You just saw Rain Dog lag there, but zoning's going to be much more powerful in this game because there's no block button. So people are going to have to dodge the projectile and risk getting hit by another attack, right? So I don't know like if that's going to make zoning strong in the long run. I feel like there's a possibility, which is kind of my fear, right? You know, being able to shield the fireball is much easier than being able to have to dodge out of it. Finally, this is kind of more of a pet peeve than anything. It's just like, I thought characters that had like really, like they had swords, like Arya Stark and Wonder Woman, I thought maybe they'd have longer reach, because generally characters with weapon like attacks usually have long reach in fighting games. But to see that they didn't implement that was kind of a little unusual to me. I thought, like, you know, being able to understand archetypes would have been easier, but I guess you can't tell just by the character. You have to like actually pick the character up. I don't know if that's a design that WB wanted to go with on purpose, or if that just happened to happen that way. But either way, it's just something I didn't like. You know, I was going in with Arya Stark thinking that like her sword was going to be really beneficial, and it ended up not being that way. So I don't know what that means, but it's more of a pet peeve than a con. I don't think it's that big of an issue when it comes to gameplay. And then finally, combos are kind of hard to get online, and I've heard, you know, Sonic Fox say that it's hard to kind of whiff punish in this game, right? So I'm hoping that this game is not going to be just a mash fest. I hope there's going to be some sort of strategy around it. It's not just you know, you press your smash attacks and then like you hope you dodge an attack, because I've kind of experienced similar stuff. Like Superman seems to never whiff any of his attacks, or when he does whiff, he recovers instantly. I don't know if that's just a me thing. It probably is. He's always armored. Like, I'm assuming that it's just a me thing because I just started playing the game, but it is a little bit worrying. I hope that it's not going to be a mash fest. I hope that there are going to be combos, kind of like Smash, where you do, you know, a combo and then like after a certain amount of damage they don't work anymore. But hopefully that'll be the case. And again, that's more speculation than anything. That's not necessarily a con, it's just kind of first impressions, right? And so finally, I want to end with this last thing. I've heard a lot of people complain that they don't want a Smash clone doing well, right? I really, really dislike this mindset. It's almost like the FGC wants games to not to do well. And I just don't understand that. Like, why would you want a game that might do well because it's really well designed to do well? The thing is, a game like Multiversus can exist side by side with Smash. Nothing is stopping that from happening. All it needs is a community, right? And I really like Multiversus. I enjoy it. It's a game I've enjoyed so far. I played quite a few hours. I played about 8 hours at this point. I think that we need to look at games differently. That's how I feel. I feel we need to look at fighting games differently. If we enjoy the game and we want to support it, we should support it. But if you have no idea on how the game is going to play, all you see is that it's similar to Smash, I really think that you should reconsider how you approach looking at fighting games, or games in general. You shouldn't want a game to fail just because you feel like you want that game to fail, or that game gives off a bad vibe to you. You need to play the game, you need to watch consistent gameplay footage of it, whether that be competitive or casual. Do what you need to do, but in my opinion, I think this is a horrible way. This is like hating someone for them just being for them just existing. That is not very good. I don't think that's healthy. I think that's a horrible way to live life, in my opinion. But you can think that way. Like, you always have the right to your opinion. Like, I'm not gonna deny that, but I do think that's a very unhealthy way to live life. You know, if Multiversus is a good game, it's a good game. That's just how it is. If it happens to be a similar clone to Smash, it happens to be a similar clone to Smash. It could still function, you know, alongside Smash, as long as it has some uniqueness to it, right? We see this with Mortal Kombat, we see this with Street Fighter and other games, other fighting games. Like, every game, they adopted concepts from Street Fighter, but they play different. You know, Mortal Kombat is the same way. Like, Injustice is the same way. Like, Injustice has a back to block, but it doesn't play anything like Street Fighter. Multiversus could be the same way. Like, maybe it has similar smashes, but, you know, unlike Brawl, unlike Smash in general, you don't have short hops. You have a high hop, and then you have to cancel it into a down button. You can cancel anything into dodge. There's no shield. Like, there's already things in Multiversus that make it vastly different than Super Smash Brothers. So I think those small things make a game unique, and I think saying that it's a Smash clone is very disingenuous at best. Even if it was, if it had the chance, if it had some sort of uniqueness that made it stay to make it play side by side with Smash and have its own community, I think it's worth it. So, long story short, Multiversus is amazing. There are some issues with it, but they're very minor. I do hope, as a free-to-play game, everyone gets into it and tries it at least, and I think it's going to do well. It has WB money to keep doing well, and it should do well. There's no reason why it shouldn't, especially with the support that it seems like the developers are going to give it. Some games can literally win off just developer support alone, especially with some of the competition of fighting games here, where developers just don't support it as much as they should, in my opinion. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Those are my first impressions on Multiversus. Hopefully you'll catch me in another stream. I'll probably be streaming on either Monday or Tuesday, but I will see you guys later. Have fun playing Multiversus and other fighting games.